So anyway, our partner provided technology for a lab at Nanyang Polytechnic. And this group of students took this technology and... black coffee, please.
Kopi kosong.
They took this technology and they designed a robot that could monitor air quality. So then they got invited to the Imagine Cup competition in Paris, along with 30 other teams from around the world.
Wow. How to be stressed in a beautiful place.
Well, they had to make a presentation in front of 1,200 people at the Louvre.
Yikes.
But they won it. Big ceremony, pictures in all the papers.
Wow, that will change their lives.
But here's the best part. Our partner is working with them to start a new company so they can take their ideas and bring them to market.
What do I have to do to get invited to Paris?
Marry rich.
So last year, these guys were Polytechnic students. This year, entrepreneurs.
Taking part in Imagine Cup was a very good experience. To see people who have one common goal, create software, change the world.
The theme was to imagine a world where technology enables a sustainable environment.
The competition was tough. People from universities, high-ranking universities.
There were teams from the United States, Russia, Poland, Ireland, China.
And when it came to the first place, they announced us. And we were just lost of words.
It was really after the Imagine Cup where we actually tasted success.
One of the key things is exposure to various industries and various people.
So apart from the technological aspect of it, whereby they provide us with brilliant technology to implement into our system, but they actually help us with the business portion of it. They actually introduce us to important people in the industry, people who can help us one way or another, be it a direct client or be it a possible partner, or even someone who just knows the market well enough to feed information to us.
I believe I'm here today is because of the fundamentals that I learned in the past, which is to create software with a social effect.
That's how we came up with Mobile Workplace Safety and Health Management System, to try to help companies better manage their workplace to create a safer environment.
What it does, it allows owners to take responsibility, to be able to report incidents and accidents, to be able to do inspection, and also help them to look after their bottom line.
So it's quite fulfilling in that sense to know that we actually followed through our inspiration that we got from the Imagine Cup, and not just letting it die down and just reverting back to climbing the corporate ladder.
Things can happen, miracles can happen.
And so now we are entrepreneurs basically. So.
Wow, education is a different world these days. I know so many frustrated teachers. They can't get their kids to stop chatting on their phones in class. Know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, you're going to appreciate what our partner did. They help us set up a system where the kids can chat all they want to.
In class?
Yep. But guess who they're chatting with? William Shakespeare and Isaac Newton.
OMG.
If you were to go into a classroom today with a marker and a book and just start reading off and explaining things, no, they would shut you out totally. They want to be engaged. They want to be hands-on in whatever. So we just can't follow the traditional approach of just preaching in class. We were thinking of how do we initiate the idea of Shakespeare study to the students, and we thought that the perfect platform would be through technology, which students are savvy these days. That's when we worked in partnership and came up with the idea of a heuristic online agent. It was actually initiated by two science teachers who came up with the idea of doing something to engage students' interest in science through a Newton program.
For physics, we have our own textbooks, but we don't really bring it to school. We use it as reference at home. So in school, we have this software. So all we have to do is just ask questions related to physics to this user over here.
So we as literature teachers tapped on the idea and thought, hey, why not we do this too? Because we've always found resistance in the learning of literature. Students generally find that it is tough and they have a kind of mental block when it comes to literature. So that's when we thought that, yes, if we could trigger their interest in the learning of Shakespeare through the Shakespeare bot, why not? It starts out with such simple questions like who is your father, who is your mother, do you have siblings, and it graduates from there. So the questions slowly start progressing from the basic background information to his place, his work, his school life, how it was in Shakespeare times. That's what hooks the student, because once the student knows about the person, they want to know more about what he does and his work, and that's what we've been banking on. If they could find that Shakespeare is not somebody who is dead and gone, not a dead poet or a dead writer, but somebody who is a friend who can chat to them, yes, that would be the trigger point. It was a perfect idea and it worked brilliantly for us.
Speaking of meeting famous people, you wouldn't believe what happened to us. I mean, we are a small company, right? You know, we've got a good product, but nobody knows about it. But our partner got us into cloud computing. And right now, anybody in the world can use our product immediately. And then we got invited to a conference to meet a group of MNCs. And guess who I was sitting next to?
I've certainly heard of them.
Here in Singapore, actually, we are one of the top manufacturers for oil rigs. So we serve as a manufacturing base to enable a lot of the oil and gas exploration in the world. Now for Astoria, we build software that helps with a lot of the operational and safety aspects. So we have invented a system here. We actually have a sensor that's embedded in the hard hat of the worker. And when the worker goes on board the vessel or he accesses into the tank, we can track where he is. Now this information is routed through a 3G modem, right, to a server, and you can access the information from anywhere around the world. Some of these issues in other industries, well, they are kind of like nice to have and not particularly critical if somebody slip up. But in oil and gas, it could be life and death. Have a misstep, somebody could die. When we first started, we are a tiny company and we are focused almost exclusively on the domestic market. But when we are getting engaged with a partner, we begin to have a much wider worldview. And we are able to actually collaborate, not just on a local basis, but on a global basis, to take some of the ideas in other parts of the world, to bring it to our work, and then in turn, we can cross-fertilize our partners there, right? Some of our ideas. We have recently worked together with our partner to create a software called Marine Cloud. Marine Cloud basically uses cloud computing technology, and we build on that basis to create applications for our specific oil and gas vertical. I think in the past 5 years, our partnership has grown from strength to strength. Now when we are about to break out of, say, the domestic market, we can actually also tap on the instant global reach, right, through their networks, through their technologies. So I feel that Astoria, by keeping on innovating, right, keeping on thinking of ways where we can apply technology, you can actually have an influence on human lives, right? Saving of lives, preventing accidents, and that is how I see ourselves, hoping that we can make a contribution to the world.
This is definitely our year.
I know what you mean. I never thought I'd say this, but I love going to work. I spent the morning with this guy, and he used to be an electrician, you know, installing air cons.
Hey, I like him already.
Except 3 years ago, he had a stroke, and the whole right side of his body was paralyzed. He lost everything. His job, social life, self-esteem.
Can't imagine what that must be like.
Yeah, no one can. Everyone thought he was just going to give up. Then he came to the lab sponsored by our partner and learned graphic design on the computer.
With one hand?
You cannot believe what people can do with training and the right tools.
Before stroke, I was a blue collar, basically climbing ladder up and down, doing wiring, household, and aircon installation. And I never expect myself to have this stroke. What happened was, CDC sent my resume to SPD. They have this called iTech program where I can play with computer. The first day I stepped into SPD, okay, under their iTech program, okay. Well, in fact, was very down. I did not talk to anybody, and I'm consider myself lucky that I can live to the today I am. But because of my stroke, paralysis from right side, I try to use it by using my chin to control the keyboard and the hand on the mouse to move about. So it's very, very ridiculous because the monitor is there. You can put it this way and you do. It's really out of the way. Not until I joined SPD ITAP and they teaching me use of the sticky key. With one hand, I get all this thing done. And in fact, after I know about this, using use of this sticky key, okay, if I pass around and show everybody that with one hand you still can read. And after 3 months of training on Photoshop, I put me into Illustrator. I never crossed my mind that this thing come live in front of thousands of people. As long as you live positively, think positively, disabled doesn't mean unable. In the past, I installed an aircon for everybody. You have to enjoy, I don't have a chance. So now it's my turn to enjoy that.
It just really makes you appreciate life. You know what I mean?
It's good to have a partner who really understands what's important.
You know, I can sit here all day with you guys, but I've got to get back.
Oh yeah, me too.
Oh, wait a minute. Now you've got me really curious. Who is this partner that you're talking about? Which company is helping these people do all this?